Welcome to a special 4th of July episode of For the Sake of Heaviness. I'm here with my one and only good friend, partner in crime, whatever you want to call him. He is.
Butch Balich. Hello. How are you? Happy 4th of July. 250 years. God bless America.
Yes. So, in honor of 4th of July, Butch and I decided that we were going to go through our top 10 American albums of 1976 in honor of 4th of July. Insert fireworks and
Yeah.
flags and all of that.
Phew.
Oh,
There's some fireworks in my pants going off right now thinking about these lists.
you know what? I haven't given any thought actually to albums that came out in '76, but it was a fun little journey back in time. There's some pretty good stuff.
It was funny when I was making when I was making my list, oh yeah, this one. I'm like, oh, I can't Ireland, England,
Yeah, I know.
Ireland, England,
I,
Germany,
I had to check a couple too.
Liechtenstein. I was like, damn it, American only.
It's funny because it's like so many of them are so ingrained in you, because like right away I was like, oh, Sad Wings of Destiny. Oh, fuck. Nope, that's not American. I did the same
Yeah.
thing. I had a whole bunch of misfires. I was like, oh, but once I got them narrowed down to stateside, we're pretty good. We're good to go. So, how do you want to do this? You want to do one for one or like bottom five and then top five? Or I have no
Let's
preference.
go. Let's go one to one.
You
One
got
to
it.
one, baby.
One to one it is. All right. I will let you go ahead and start off.
All right. Let me just start off real quick. I just want to throw a couple of honorables out there.
Yeah.
This is shit I couldn't fit. If we had gone to 15, I probably would have fit them in. But good Rats, Rhapsody in Blue. Um, you
That's a
know,
great
not
album.
yeah. I mean, it's obviously not metal, but it's pretty hard rocking. At times, the vocals are killer. Like if you've never heard them, imagine um like Pepe Marcello sounds just like Burton Cummings, except like in a hard rock context. Like
Yeah.
these guys are killer. Great. There's great guitar work. The vocals are outstanding. The song, I can't believe these guys like didn't make it. I mean,
Yeah.
the songs are so good. Like, and all their records are really solid. Definitely check them out.
Good
Um,
stuff.
you know,
Yep.
yeah. This is a band from Pittsburgh. Uh, Diamond REO
Oh,
featuring Norm Nardini, who's still around here playing. Not playing this kind of stuff anymore, but this is a very like it's one of those obscure kind of like Rock Candy reissued this. It's kind of like an obscure like hard rocker like Zeppelin, Aerosmith type of like a
sure.
lot of it's like mid tempo kind of like grinding, like real groovy,
Okay.
kind of heavy rock. Really cool record, man. A great playing, great singing.
Awesome.
Um, I wanted to mention the Runaways' first record,
Yep, for
Ted
sure.
Nugent Free for All. I mean, you can't go wrong with either those Mother's Finest debut.
Yep.
Super funky, but still really hard rocking. Like a band that was definitely breaking boundaries. That never got the acclaim that they deserve. They're still together, too. There's still a lineup of this band out there doing it, man. Touring. So more power to them. Last
Yeah.
honorable mention is Yesterday and Today's first one.
Excellent.
Great starting place for them. Some really good songs on here. 25 Hours a Day is a classic.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful Dreamer, another
Killer.
classic.
Yep.
Fast Ladies, Very Slow Gin. I mean, it's just a fun record. Animal Woman is cool.
Yep.
So, you know what you get when you get Y&T. But this is like the 70s version. It's Dave Menikety's great. The guitar playing's killer. Leonard
Yeah.
Hayes laying it down in the back. Phil
Yep.
Cannemore, Joey Alves, holding it all down. So those are my honorables. I had like more honorables than I have records. So anyway, my number 10 is a band called Point Blank.
Nice.
This is heavy Southern rock. It's like in the same category as ZZ Top, Skinner, Blackfoot, and all of that. It's a little bit heavier than
Sure.
Skinner. It's pretty ripping. Bill Ham produced this, who people might know worked with ZZ Top. Rusty Burns, great guitar and slide guitar work on here and vocals. Just a killer heavy Southern rock album. I mean, freaking amazing guitar work. It's got a couple of those songs that got a little bit of that slow, kind of like, slow and then gets heavy kind of thing. There's a couple like um slightly progressive kind of tinges too in it. Just a man, I love this record. I just re-listened to it today for the first time in a while. I'm like, holy crap, I got to include this one.
That's
So, and I'm pretty sure from the great state of Texas, these guys. So, point blank.
a good one, man. That's been on a list I've had going for quite a while. I need to acquire that one. There's a
Yeah,
couple
dude,
others too. Your honorable mentions, I had a couple in mind too, and I'm going to throw in Leonard Skinner. Give me back my bullets too.
great
That
album.
that was fantastic. I mean, talk about genre defining. When you think of Southern rock, that's like the first band that usually comes to mind. So,
For
but all
sure.
right, my number 10. You mentioned in your honorables, but I got to go with Uncle Ted because when it comes for a free for all, I mean, dog eat dog, free for all, hammered down, right down the wall. Say what you want, but the riffs are there, and this is just a straight up party album. You put this on, and you start grilling, you start swilling, you have a good time, man.
Yeah.
So Uncle Ted's
How great is
got to be
Street
mentioned.
Rats, man?
I know, right? There's
Dude.
not a real weak point on this one.
Have you heard the reissued version that has the bonus tracks that has the Derek St. Holmes singing
No,
Street Rats?
nope, I have not. How was that?
It's cool. It's good,
Yeah.
man. I mean, I like Meatloaf's too, but you know, Derek St. Holmes is always awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely.
So yeah, it's worth listening to. Yeah, there's so many good riffs on that one. I almost picked it for mine, but
Yeah.
killer record. And Meatloaf sounds like I don't know. It's just interesting to hear Mr. Loaf in that context. On a really like truly hard rock record.
He brings it though. It works, you
Yeah,
know?
sounds great. Freaking Hammer Down, like just it's great. And that
Yep.
song's like proto. It's almost like proto speed metal
A little
in
bit.
some
Yep.
ways. That main riff and Hammer Down is
It's
killer.
crazy.
Good pick,
Yep.
man.
What you got next?
Speaking of Southern rock, number 9 for me is Blackfoot's second record,
Yes.
Flying
Nice.
High. And actually,
Nice.
maybe my favorite Blackfoot record. It's certainly, I think it's their heaviest.
Hmm.
It definitely has a few of my favorite songs by them on here. This song, Island of Life, on side 2. Holy smokes, like just a killer
Yeah.
song. I mean, these guys, the string of records from No Reservations up through, I'll even throw in Siogo in there,
Nice.
although they're starting to dip off a little bit at that point. But those freaking, you know, 6 records, just some smoking
Yeah.
guitar work. Ricky Medlock, great singing. I mean, there's great playing all over these records. And this record, like, this came out before they really hit their, you know, got their commercial due. And but this is a killer record. Like,
Yeah.
if all you know of the band is like that trio of records,
Yep.
the big ones, like definitely seek this one out and no reservations. You will not regret. This is one of the best Southern rock records, and it's Blackfoot always leaned hard rock. I mean, it
Yeah.
was so. And this one especially, I think, is like it's definitely one of the heaviest records they did.
It's a shame because I always feel like, Blackfoot's one of those bands that sort of slips through the cracks a little bit. They had that little bit of, modern commercial success with Morning Dew. And all of a sudden people were kind of, oh, what's that? What's that? That got some airplay, but it kind of quickly faded away and everything. But I mean, what an incredible band. I mean, so much good stuff going on with all of
I
that.
wish I would have gotten to see them live.
Never saw him. I never saw him either.
Me neither.
Hey,
Sad.
I'm gonna go number 9 with Dawn Explosion,
Ooh,
Captain Beyond.
good
Um,
one.
I think this is a little bit of a forgotten one too when it comes to Captain Beyond. I think it was like a return to form. Sufficiently Breathless, I really enjoy, but what a completely different album from the first one. And then
Totally.
and then this one kind of bounces back. Caldwell's back, and they kind of pick up, where they were in that direction they were headed with the first album. But there's some killer stuff on here too. Icarus is just to name one, just is a crazy, crazy good song. So Captain Beyond, Dawn Explosion.
Right on. This is an oddball band, man. I got introduced to this band through a compilation called Strictly for Connoisseurs that Music for Nations label put out. It was a double record. It was all bands like um there were no like huge bands on it. It was all bands that either flirted with success and never really got it, or
Hmm.
bands that were perennial openers or one and dones. And this was kind of like a one and done. Although the main guy in this band still plays, but he plays blues for years now. But this band is called Marcus. Um,
Completely new to me.
it is a killer record, and I I wish I still had my original copy, but I had to rebuy it. I did one of those stupid things like where I got it on CD and got rid of my original vinyl, and then I'm like, I want the vinyl, so found the vinyl again. But I initially found it like I got this strictly for connoisseurs record, got introduced to a bunch of bands, and they were on there. There's a song called Black Magic on here that's like it sounds like Sabbath almost. It's that
Wow.
like super heavy. There's super heavy riffs in it, like slow, kind of pounding kind of song. Um, you could see like the band was kind of like known for they were like one of the first like heavy rock bands. There are a couple of African Americans in the band here.
Yeah.
The band was kind of split, but this didn't get much of a push. I found this at like some there was a place called Unclaimed Salvage and Freight um, near me that had like they had this big like outdoor sale. People like set up tables and stuff, and I got it for like 50 cents. Like,
That's a
and I just
steal.
found it on. It's just the weirdest find. I'm like, holy crap! I just had this other record. I'm like, I know who these guys are. I'm gonna buy it. Like, it's a and man, there's some really heavy stuff on this record. Some of it there, you got some straight up bluesy boogie hard rock, but then there's like some stuff. There's a song on here called "Rise Like the Falcon," "Pillow Stars" that lean towards um, metal and some progressive kind of
Mhm.
elements, moody kind of stuff. Marcus Malone is a great voice. I mean, killer upper range and just a really great. There's great guitar work on here. There's like three guitar players, I believe, playing on this record at any
Wow.
given time. And Tim Bogart played bass on here on High School Ladies, Street Corner Babies, and Gypsy Fever. Um, but yeah, they had one Gene Block, Randall David, and Jack Weber. Two lead players and one rhythm guy, strictly rhythm guy. But man, it's a really killer record. Like if you could find this, like when I see it, it's never too expensive. And again, Rock Candy reissued this.
Yeah.
Another label reissued it too, so you can get it on CD, and it's really great. If you like Sabbath, the Aerosmith, like all that kind of stuff, there's a teeny bit of funk on it, but it's mostly just like a straight up like kind of like metal record. It falls in with if you like Angel Stars,
Yeah.
all those band Legs Diamonds.
Yeah.
Like I
That's
think,
that's completely new to me.
yeah,
That one is
I
I've
think you
never
would
heard
like
of
this
that one.
record, Mike. I think you would like this.
Duly noted. I'll keep that in mind. All right. My next one. A lot of people will say it's a clone, and when you listen to it, if you didn't know who it was, you would absolutely probably say who they sound a lot alike. But the first Star Castle is fantastic. I mean, if you're talking prog, yeah, they sound a lot like Yes. And the funny thing is the singer Terry Luttrell was the original singer for REO Speedwagon, but his presentation on this is like far removed from what he did with REO.
Yeah,
And the highs that he hits, it's like, holy cow, man. It's like
it's like John Anderson on this record. Yeah,
it completely is. It's like completely different. So, but I have all the Star Castle albums, but nothing topped this one. But Lady of the Lake I think is probably the most famous one off of this. But if you like prog and if you like Yes and things that are in that direction, this is right in your wheelhouse. And it's a great spin, great listen. Keys are fantastic. Just the time changes and the signatures and everything that they do, whether they were trying to hit that prog note or not, or how much they were riding coattails of Yes, I don't know. but I still feel it stands on its own, and it's freaking great record. Great record.
Yeah. There's some form of that band that still plays from time to time, and I think even made a newer record. Now Gary Strader, the bass player, died um,
Yep.
several more than several years ago now. But that's another band that was on the um, Strictly for Connoisseurs
Oh,
record.
no
So
kidding. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think they did put something out. I don't know, the last what 10 years maybe? Because I think Citadel was like the last one in the original tenure of the band. I gotta look and
I
see.
think
I gotta look at dates.
I thought Real to Real was the last one. It's kind of like their Love Beach, like their poppy,
Yeah, you
the
might be
kind of
right on that. Yeah.
poppy AOR record. The Citadel was the third record. That's the one that had Wings of White on it.
No, you're absolutely right. You are correct on that. Yep. That's right. All right, man.
So,
What do
but
you
yeah, speaking of Strictly for Connoisseurs, here's how I got introduced to this band too. I mean, it was like literally like it's like bands that aren't on this list because they're not American, like Moxie
Yeah,
was
yeah.
on there, and
Great,
then
great
bands that
band.
had records in later years like Legs Diamond, like are on that comp. It's an amazing compilation.
Yeah.
This is Rex,
Oh
and if you
yeah.
recognize that dude, that's because that is Rex Smith, who after two records decided he was going to make teeny bopper records.
Yep.
Um,
He
before he
adorned.
like kind of dipped back into rock for one or two albums, but it was never like this is like a hard rock album. This is
Yeah,
like in there with Aerosmith, Stars,
sure.
Ted. They opened up for Ted Nugent. There are stories about people seeing them live about Rex used to do like backflips off trampolines and shit like that on stage. Um, cool bands. Orville Davis, their bass player, started out in a band called Hydra, Southern rock bands, and he ended up he played on One Stars record. Later, he played on Coliseum Rock.
Yeah.
I don't know that the other dudes have. I think Mike Ratty did at least definitely did some studio work. Lou Vandora and Lars. I'm forgetting his name now. Lars Hansen might have too. I don't know. This is this lineup only did two records, and both of them are killer.
Yeah.
Just great, like kind of sleazy hard rock. Again, if you like Stars, if you like Kiss, Aerosmith, it's right in there.
Sure.
Rex has a great voice, can hit some great high notes. And most people know him because he went on to be an actor and
Yep.
especially big on Broadway. Like he was in Grease. Pirates of Penzance was one of the big ones he was known for. He toured around for a lot of years, like doing like Broadway show tunes and stuff like that. So it's a
He ended
shame
up
he never.
he ended up on a couple of soap operas or something too, right? Am I thinking
I
right?
think he had a show like one of those shows too, like that lasted like a year. That was like a take on
Like one of those variety shows.
yeah, what was the name of the God damn it. Um what was the name of the one with I'm getting so old, man, and this
Oh,
was
dude.
right. Knight Rider. Um I think he was in a show called Street Hawk that was like had
Oh,
except he rode a motorcycle and the
yeah.
motorcycle was like kind of like
Yes.
it
Oh,
was very short lived.
yeah. That's hilarious. I don't think I've even thought about that since probably when it was on. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
but
That's
this dude,
funny.
I mean,
That's crazy you pull that up because that's all I remember him for is he was on the cover of like every 16 magazine. And,
yeah, him
I'd
and
go to the grocery
Leif
store with
Garrett.
my mom and sit around by the magazine rack and just, all we did was look for Kiss stuff. And I,
Yeah,
I saw Rex on like everything. I'm like, who is this guy? But that's
yeah.
crazy.
His big hit was that "You're Taking My Breath Away"
Okay.
from I think it was a TV movie called Sooner or Later. Um, it was a huge song, huge ballad. But yeah, definitely, there's all kind of stories. You have to. Martin Popoff has funny stories from interviewing him. Like the band was like there were mob dealings and stuff early on
Wow.
with getting these guys signed and stuff. So, and by the
Wow.
way, Rex Smith, singer of Stars, lead singer Michael Lee Smith. So great singing runs in that family.
Very true. Okay. Okay. This not his finest hour, and it was coming up on his little shift, image wise and stuff. But I still love Alice Cooper Goes to Hell. This this actually in the last couple of years, I think I grabbed for this one more than I do some of the other stuff. But the title track. You Gotta Dance, I Never Cry. I know a lot of people aren't big on that song, but man, so good. Wake Me Gently, Wish You Were Here. It was going into his weird fashion. The stuff that followed this got a little out on the fringe a little bit. Still some really good
Yeah.
stuff in there too, but I think this was, the traditional Alice. This was kind of like the end of it for a little while till he came back around. But I don't know. I remember seeing this album at Ben Franklin when I was a kid in the record bins, and I was like, "Damn, who's that guy?" This kind of
Yeah.
creeped me out a little bit. I thought it was Frankenstein at first, and I was like, "Oh, it's this Alice Cooper guy."
Yeah, it's
So
such a weird, like kind of creepy
yeah,
album
oh yeah,
cover. You'd never think that it was, you would think it was heavier or weirder than it is. And it's more
yeah,
like kind of like, it's like Welcome to My Nightmare, but schmaltzier.
very schmaltzy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one of my absolute favorite albums. So
The
yeah,
title
this
track's
was
a
this was
smoker,
good.
man. One of
Oh,
Alice's best. Go to
big
Hell is
time.
such a
And when he
killer
plays,
song, man.
I've seen Alice Cooper a bunch of times live, and whenever it's an indoor event, the lighting and the way things change on stage for when that song starts,
Yeah.
it still has that visual like whoa, I gotta get you all revved up and stuff. So, but yeah, still a good album.
Right on. My next one is Aerosmith
Ah,
Rocks. Um, for me, their finest hour. Um, you could debate it with Toys in the Attic or Get Your Wings, maybe.
mm-hmm.
But I think it's definitely, I feel like this is definitely their heaviest. Back in the Saddle, of
Yeah,
course, Smokes. That groove in Last Child is like
yep.
unstoppable. Rats in the Cellar, just smoking fast, heavy. Combination, just that dirty guitar groove. Sick as a Dog. I mean, it's on and on. Every song I hear, Nobody's Fault, maybe their heaviest song. I mean, but I think it's like between that or um, Round and Round, super heavy
Yeah.
from Toys. Get the Lead Idea, Lick It a Promise, one of my favorites. Man, what a killer, like heavy song. Just track after track after
Yep.
track on this record. It's pretty much all killer, no filler. Even Home Tonight has grown on me over the years. I mean, 10-star Aerosmith. When people wonder why some of us don't like 80s Aerosmith and 90s Aerosmith and 2000s Aerosmith, it's because
Yep.
you know you don't want bands to necessarily live in the past, but for fuck's sake, when you make a record this good, like their stringer records in the 70s, and then you make records that
Yeah.
wimpy, it's like,
Yep.
please,
Yeah,
this is
that
where it's at.
there's definitely a line drawn in the sand between, the two eras of Aerosmith. And, for me, I drew the line right after Done with Mirrors. I still thought that was a pretty decent album, as far
Same
as like,
here.
reunion or however you wanted to say that one was. But I'm right there with you. Man, Permanent Vacation and Pump. I cringe every time I hear any of those songs. So, and it's like you
I,
said, if you compare it to everything prior, there is no comparing it. It's like it's almost two separate bands, or it's somebody that
yeah,
came in with a marketing scheme. And so, okay, this is what we're gonna do with Aerosmith now, and it just And I know that they
it,
made a gazillion fucking dollars on all that new stuff, but
yeah. I mean, who's right, and who's wrong? I mean, it's like
right,
Van Halen and Van Hagar. Like when
there you
Sammy
go.
joined. I mean, it's just the same situation. Like both bands, like probably had their most, their biggest actual commercial successes with those lineups. But
Yeah,
I mean, it is what
yep.
it is. But
I
I
think you're
every once
right.
in a while I try to make a comp of what would make a killer Aerosmith record from Permanent Vacation up through, and it's tough, man.
It's kind of sad, man. There was, and I saw. I'm trying to think here. I think I saw the Permanent Vacation tour, and I just remember Jackal opening, and I was very intoxicated, put it that way. So I don't remember a whole lot of that show. But then we saw. Did you see the Kiss Aerosmith tour? Oh, it was it
I
was
didn't go.
it was very very boring. I was like, come on. I mean, I'm getting out sidetracked here. I think they had put out that blues album, what that Honkin' on Bobo.
Honking on
So they
Bobo.
they relied a lot on that, but they weren't, Anyway, I'm getting too far off track here. We'll have to save that for a separate episode.
Yeah.
All right. I almost didn't put this one in because I wasn't sure, but I'm like, okay, if I'm going to put Star Castle in, this one's got to go in. It's a classic rock staple, but if you listen to it musically, there's so much more on this album. So I'd be remiss if I didn't put Leftoverture from Kansas
Killer
in. And
record.
yeah, and I know that this has got the big ones on there where it just put everybody through the stratosphere, but Carry On My Wayward Son. I watch a lot of drum videos of people learning how to play drums, and they all
Yeah.
want to nail that song for some reason. So, so it's like drummer after drummer after drummer playing to that song. But the whole of the album is, what's on my mind.
Great
Everything.
song. Heavy.
Yeah, everything on this is just immense. So it can't be understated just how good of a record this is. Actually, me and the missus was very, very early on in our courtship. Kansas played the county fair out here by us, and they were fantastic. That was probably around 97, 98, and the one and only time I ever saw them, and they were fantastic. So, but yeah, this is essential.
I probably saw them around I don't know if it was the same time, but I definitely saw them in the early, like first time I ever saw them was like early to leaning towards the mid 90s. They played at Conneaut Lake Park here in Pennsylvania. It was like them and at the time they still had it was still Steve Walsh, Phil Earhart, um, and the guitar player with the patch on his eye. God damn it!
Yeah, I can't think of
I
his
shouldn't
name
have even
either.
gone. I
He
shouldn't
was
have even
there.
gone
He was
down
there
that
for us
road.
too. You got
I
to see
should know
Steve
that.
Walsh though. Steve
Yeah,
Walsh
but
played. That's cool.
yeah, I mean they were great. I mean they had a different dude. Bobby Steinhardt had come back to the Rich Williams is the guitar player I'm thinking of.
There you go.
I knew it was on the tip of my tongue. Um, you know, Livgren wasn't playing with them, and Bobby Steinhardt hadn't was due to come back to the band within a few years.
Hmm.
And Billy Greer was on bass; he'd been with them since the '80s. So I don't know, they were great. Anyway, I'm sidetracking, but
It's all
Kansas
good.
is that's a good pick. There's a lot of heavy stuff in their catalog, man. Up
Yeah.
through Point of No Return, like there's a lot of heavy songs.
Yep. Yep. 100%.
Sure. Number five for me, I debated this, but I feel like it's still a pretty. I don't have it with me. Of course, I got to get it on vinyl. I don't have the CD either anymore. It didn't survive the call for some reason.
Uh-oh.
I think because I knew I was going to buy the vinyl one of these days, and I just haven't yet. Or it might have been one of those ones I bought and then gave it to Margaret. Um,
Uh,
but the Ramones' first
yeah.
record, I mean, it
Yeah.
just hits you in the face. I mean, it's just like it's a very simple, stripped down, you know,
Raw. Yeah.
raw record. It's like it seems like one guitar, the bass, the drums, the vocals, boom. But it's got like so many, being on the Brats on there,
Hmm.
Blitzkrieg Bop, Havana Affair, which is just like rips.
Yeah.
Um, now I want to sniff some glue. I don't want to go down the basement. Like, just, I mean, song after great song
Yeah.
on the record. Judy is a punk. So, man, what a, I think they were a big influence, not only in, obviously in punk, but I mean, obviously they, you know, had an effect on, Lemmy was a fan.
Hmm.
And, for sure, like, I don't think it can be understated the effect that punk rock had on metal as the years went on and the two genres kind of combined. And you have to go back to some people go back to the MC5 and the Stooges. That's fine if you want to do that, but for me, like that first Ramones record is really where you get that true, like kind of like
Yeah.
what Now I'm not a punk rock scholar, so what? Don't come at me
No.
I'll just agree with you. You can say what you want. Oh, that's not the first. Okay,
Yeah.
just don't say, I will, the Clash is nowhere near as good as the Ramones or the
Yeah.
Pistols. So, or the
Um,
Pistols are near as good as the Ramones either. But I love this record. I mean, and the front is, I mean, that front cover is just kill it. Just four dudes standing up against a brick
Standing
wall
there.
with
Yep.
leather jackets. Badass.
I've had a love hate relationship with the Ramones. I completely understand their place in history. That was a band that definitely moved the needle. Um, I just I don't know. I for one love the Sex Pistols. Like you, I fucking hate the Clash. I'll go on record right there. I have never
I don't hate
understood
the
that.
Clash. I just think
Ah,
they're not near as good. I don't understand when people talk about them in the same.
nah.
I mean, I
Fuck.
guess there's a political thing with it and all that other stuff, but I don't know. I
Aside
don't get.
aside from that, I've just the Clash just one of those bands that grates on me. Never understood. But anyway, yeah, the Ramones are great. I have to really be in the mood for it because they just get a little repetitive for me, which probably sounds stupid because it's punk rock. But there's just I don't know. There's just something about it. So I'll get beat up in the comments ahead of you for any
Yeah.
of that.
You love one song, you love them all.
Right, exactly.
It's like AC/DC or status quo.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. That's
All
right.
right. You ready for my next one?
I'm ready.
Okay, good, because you're wearing the shirt. Dude, should we just talk about how spectacular this album is? And this is another one of those bands. It's like, how did they just not break through? Because they're so fucking good, you know? Detroit Girls, I fucking love that song.
Dude.
Boys in Action, Livewire, fucking Fallen, of course, Fallen Angel. But I mean,
Tear
from
it down.
start to finish, man. This is just a good rock and roll album. Were they in the shadow of, Kiss and everything else at that time? Yeah, I suppose so. But I don't know, man. I can go back and listen to this over and over again. Actually, the next couple of albums are just as good too. A little bit of a
I love
direction
all
change,
four of
but
their officially released studio records and most of the live records that have kind of trickled out over
yeah.
the years too.
I actually just bought that. That's a double LP, like greatest hit stuff. That's got a couple of alternate
Yeah.
takes on it. That's got some pretty good stuff on there too. But
Yeah.
actually, hold on a second. I think I still have I don't know what this. I have two copies of this. Maybe I grabbed the wrong one. I got the sticker still in here too.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, right here.
Badass.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Yeah, fucking such a good album. Love this. And they're
I
still
have the
touring too.
what's that?
I said they're still playing around off and on too. Weren't they?
Yeah, I just
Didn't
saw
they
them.
with you saw them with Angel, didn't
Yeah,
you?
I just saw them with Angel. It's a different lineup. It's still Richie Reno on guitar, who still plays amazing, looks good.
Yeah.
Um, Joe Doobie on drums, Joe X Doobie on drums. Still rocking it, still rocking the handlebar
Yeah. Hell yeah.
mustache. Um, they had other guys in the lineup, different singer, and they were really good. They played like most of the record live, um, and they sounded great. I would definitely go see them again. I would love. I don't know. I mean, I understand. It's too bad they never did. Like they made a stab at releasing some new songs back in like the 90s. They put out a CD called Requiem that had like some stuff they were working on, and then like some B-sides and some live stuff and off tracks. And they never did. They talked over the years about doing another studio record. I think at one point they were had a deal to do one, and I thought Alex Kane was working with them um, to put it together, and it never
Mm,
happened. I mean, I would love to have Richie Renner on the show
that'd be cool.
sometime to talk about the band. And this was actually my next one too. And the reason I have the vinyl is because it's in a frame here somewhere. Because uh, I have at least three guys' signature
Oh,
on
cool.
it from seeing them in Cleveland years ago, and they hung around after to
That's
sign
awesome.
shit. So yeah, so that's in a frame. It's waiting to be hung in this room, but I love this album. When I
Yeah.
saw them, they opened with Detroit Girls. They played Livewire. They did Tear It Down. She's Just a Fallen Angel, Monkey Business, Nightcrawler, Pull the Plug. Now I Can's my favorite on here.
Yeah.
I found out about this band by I was babysitting for my neighbors across the street. Had kids that were, I don't know, I was like, I don't know how much younger they were. I was like 13 or 14 or something like that, and their kids were under 10. They couldn't, they still needed supervision.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly I would go over there like the parents are already the kids in bed, and so I would just like listen to their record collection and stuff or watch TV. And I was going through the records and like I'm like pulling something like these guys look. I'm like that looks like hard rock. You flip
Right,
it
right,
over and you can see that picture of the band. Like that looks like it might be hard rock. And
right,
I think
right.
like the Budgies Never Turned You Back on a Friend I got out of that collection. And
Wow.
there are a few things like that. So I asked Dad if I could borrow it. He's like, yeah, go ahead and check it out. And I was like, I dropped it onto a tape and I listened to it like over and over and
Yeah,
over and over. Uh, love them. I love this band. One of my favorite bands of all time.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and there's a book. Um, there's a book that's about Cheap Trick, Stars, Aerosmith, and Kiss. It's wild that Stars got added, but there's a story in there about one of the reasons that I think being signed to Rocksteady as their management was a double-edged sword for
Mm-hmm.
them. On one hand, you got the manager of Kiss,
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest bands in the world at the time, but then you're not getting the attention
Right.
that you need. But Cherry Baby comes out and is a hit on Violation. It's a top 40 single. They're getting ready to follow it with Sing It, Shout It, and the label just like butchered the edit
Yeah.
for the. They just edited it without telling the band they were going to do it. I guess the band got like pissed about it. And the
Sure.
story is that Doobie like started choking Allcoin,
Oh,
and
wow. No kidding.
after that they saw their um, you know, the
Did he
amount
get
of
all the
support and stuff
attention?
they have
Yeah.
to like kind of, and then they got pushed like not to wait for Jack Douglas for the Attention Shoppers record,
Yeah.
and they just kind of, it's just kind of a bummer that they never made it big. They should have been huge. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
this record and Violation are easily as good as you know some of the Kiss records and Aerosmith. I mean, it fits right in with that stuff. I mean,
Oh, yeah. The style is there. It's all right there. It was exactly what was making bands break at that point. It's funny you mentioned how you first discovered them. I think I had seen the name for a while, but I had never heard them. And then it was like the mid '80s, I think. One of the gas stations used to have a turnstile full of cassettes, and there must have
yeah,
been like I don't know how many copies of that live album, that Stars Live, it was in there. So I was like, you know what? This thing's only $2. I'm gonna buy it. And I was like, oh, this is pretty good. So I kind of worked my
yeah,
way backwards from there.
yeah. Those couple live records that they used to combine to make that live in action that Metal Blade put out, killer. These Ryko reissues, by the way, if you could find them, are worth getting. They all have bonus tracks on them,
Nice.
demos, and there's a few like B sides and
Yeah.
unreleased stuff. So just a killer band.
Can't say enough good stuff about Stars. All right.
Can't.
This was your one of your honorable mentions, but I rate it very high because I fucking love these guys and I love this album. So, yep.
Nice. I knew you.
Yes.
I figured you were going to have it.
Yeah. Yesterday and today. I mean, everybody's got a starting point, but this smokes, with the raw production and just you can just feel the grime of this record, you know, 25 hours a day. Um, Alcohol's on this one too. I love
Alcohol.
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 Alcohol. Yeah, Beautiful Dreamer, like you mentioned, Earthshaker. I mean, for debut, this thing smokes. And yeah, everything we've already said about Miniketty and for all the drummers out there that were trying to replicate what Leonard Hayes could do, with one foot that we couldn't do with two. So great stuff. I have made the argument that I think they should have been as big as Van Halen. I know I get shit for that, but I'm going to stick to that.
I forgot to show too. Like this,
Yeah,
Dave Medichetti, right
that's
there when they
killer.
played Pittsburgh. Jesus, it's a long time ago now. They were touring for Face Melter,
Yeah.
and Phil was sick at the time. He had not yet passed, but he wasn't
Hmm.
playing. obviously, and Dave just Dave just doesn't do the
Yeah.
paid meet and greet thing. He just comes out afterwards
Hangs
and
out.
he'll hangs out,
Yeah.
sign stuff. Awesome.
How cool is that that he still does that? You know what else too? I know he's had his health issues and things too, but dude, he still plays like he's 20 and still sounds like he's 20.
Yeah, dude.
Man, hats off to that guy for keeping it going. So good.
It's amazing. There's a yeah, the funny one of the funniest stories about Y&T is the story. I wish I could find the article, but I think they were making the Mean Streak record, and the story was about the amount of money that was bands were wasting at the time. They like had like a $10,000 mic that they set up in the studio,
Oh yeah.
just that it was the fart mic,
Yep.
and
Yep.
they would just like anytime someone had a fart, they fart into the mic and record it. I would love to. That'd be the funniest fucking thing to hear. Like somewhere there's a fart reel that those
You
guys
know it. You know that's
were
in a
all
box
privy to,
somewhere.
and Dave still has it. You know it, unless it like got. I guess a lot of their masters got um, destroyed in that
Yep.
fire that happened
Yep.
with the Universal warehouses.
Yeah.
But that'd be hilarious to hear.
We'll have to get Tim Derling in on that. He might have some insight to the fart reels too.
Yeah, I gotta think about that. He might
Yeah.
be Y&T expert.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
this next one might be a surprise that it's actually not my number one, but for some people that know me, but it still doesn't mean it's not a great record, and that's Angels, Hell of a Band,
Yeah.
album number two. This is the recent reissue of it. Looks
Nice.
pretty good. Sounds good. Um,
Is that a
I always
true
love this.
Japanese version?
Yeah,
Oh, I bet that sounds killer. I don't know what
it
it is
does.
about those Japan pressings, but my God.
The only thing that's a bummer about this one is it doesn't have the original Japanese issue of this, which I mean this is one, but it's missing the flexi. It came with a
Oh
flexi
yeah,
disc
that's
that was
right.
just like a little message from the band, which is like
Yeah.
hilarious if you listen to it. It sounds like it was kind of like the band just it almost sounds like they weren't even ready. Like someone just stuck a mic under them and said, "Get say something." And that's the only thing. But I mean, it sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then like I said, the Rishi sounds really great too. It looks good, and there's a flat in here that
That's good that the cover quality is better than the
yeah,
debut.
definitely.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I was really disappointed with the cover quality with the debut reissue.
Yeah,
Um, so I was a little bit hesitant to buy the spring for the like this came with that signed, and then there's yeah, the inside. This is cool. They put the lyrics on it
that's cool.
this time. Um, and it the CD also came
Yeah.
with it. But I love this record, man. As much as I love the first one, this one's maybe a little bit heavier. It's a tad more straightforward, although it's still quite progressive at times. Like
Mm-hmm.
the Fortune is kind of like a natural progression from Tower. It's huge, humongous, like keyboard intro by Greg Jafria, one of
Yep.
his finest moments. And then he's the keyboard work in that song littered throughout the song is amazing. They uh, notoriously spent so much time on that song in the studio that it didn't leave them quite enough time. They
Right.
kind of had to rush some of the rest of the record, so they'll say like that's why they think the record's not quite as sharp as the first one. But man, I mean, song for song, feeling right, the Fortune, any way you want is just a quick, you know, upbeat kind of like poppy hard rock, groovy hard rocker. Doctor Ice is more like a deep purple kind of thing. Mirrors and Pressure Point are just straight up like kind of like metal. Pressure Point's like again, it's one of the songs that's like kind of like proto speed metal or something. It's one of those songs like Stone Cold Crazy or
Right. Yep.
Sweet Fa by the Sweet that's just kind of fast and
Yeah.
heavy. Feelings on here is a great ballad with a probably Punky Metal's greatest guitar solo. Um, Chicken Soup just kind of like funky hard rocker. Again, song for song, one of my favorite records of all time.
Yeah.
I like it. I've gone back and forth between this and the debut. over the years. For a long time, this was my number one, and then I go back to the debut. But love this record. Angel should have been huge. What it could have, should have. But man, what an amazing band and an amazing record. What's number three?
I knew you were gonna have that, so I kind of specifically decided I'm gonna let Butch have his angel moment with that one. But that is a fucking great
Which is
album,
talking
man.
about Angel again.
We knew he'd fit in there somehow, man. All right, coming up with this one. I guess you could say this is the one that made him a household name, even though it was a bizarre name for a lot of people that weren't in the know. But BOC, Blue Oyster Cult, Agents of Fortune. Um, outside of, Don't Fear the Reaper, everything else on here is just stellar. Sinful Love is freaking great. Tattoo Vampire, um, the Extraterrestrial Intelligence. This is just a banger through and through. And now that I've had this forever, did you ever see the movie Stoned Age?
Yeah, it's like the annoying version of Days of Confused.
It is, but I love that movie, man. I think it's hilarious. And every
That one
time
dude is such a dick to his buddy.
I know they're riding around in the blue torpedo, and he puts on "Don't Fear the Reaper." He's like, "That's a pussy song. I told you
Yeah.
can't play that. That's a pussy song." And the whole thing is, dude, I'm telling you, man, that eyeball at Blue Oyster Cult show fucked me up, man. But yeah, this is just through and through. Such a good album. BOC.
That is a gooder. It almost made my list. For me, like coming after Secret Treaties and before Spectres, which I think are like my two favorite
Yeah,
BOC records. It kind of like in a couple of places. It's one of those records like sometimes I play it and I'm like, this is awesome.
yeah,
Like when I'm in the right mood, like it
yep,
hits me the right way. And sometimes I listen to it, I'm like, I don't know why this doesn't hit me the way that it did last time. And then the next time I listen to it, I'll be, this is awesome. And then the next time I'll be like, I don't know why it's not hitting me. And then this is awesome.
yep. No, I got bands like that too. It is. It's just sometimes you got to be in the mood. I mean, there's those bands you can listen to anytime, any place, and just love it. And there's the ones where it's like, okay, yeah, ain't digging it today. And then
And
it's
I don't
just
care
like,
how ubiquitous Don't Fear the Reaper is. I love that song. I will never
I
turn
do
it
too.
off when
I
it's
do
on the
too.
radio, especially like if they're playing don't play me any edit of that song.
Yep. I want the whole
Give me the
thing.
whole thing, man.
Yep.
It's
Same here.
amazing. Great,
Actually,
great
I
song.
I absolutely love the Solitude Eternus version of Don't Fear the Reaper too. That's fucking
I don't know
great.
if I've ever heard that.
Oh man, it's really really good. That
Oh,
they
I'll
the
have to
way that
check that out.
the way they doom it out and with Robert's vocals, I mean, there's like there's a definite like atmosphere
Excuse me.
shift to it. So yeah, if you haven't heard that, oh yeah, that's one you got to definitely check out.
I'll definitely check that out. Man, that's soda. Between soda and Chipotle tonight, I'm just like Burposaurus.
All right,
Number
we're
two
down
for
we're down to
me.
our final two here. Yeah.
Yes. Number two, this actually almost made number one, but for nostalgic reasons, my number one's my number one, and my number two is my number two.
Yeah.
Um, but man, an argument can be made for this being the best record in 1976, period. And that's the first Boston record.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, dude, when you have a record like that, every goddamn song has been played on the radio,
Yeah.
it's like it's amazing. I mean, we're talking about mainstream radio too. I mean, yeah, that
Right.
More Than a Feeling was a hit, and Peace of Mind was a single, and but like every one of these songs has gotten some form of airplay over the years.
Yep.
You still classic rock still plays. I don't hear Hitch a Ride um, as much as some of the other ones, but
Mhm.
Jesus, I mean, More Than a Feeling, Peace of Mind, Foreplay, a Long Time, rock and roll band. I mean,
Yep.
Jesus Christ. I mean, Smoking,
Yep.
great ripping organ solo in that. Hitch a Ride, which I love. That might be my favorite song in this record. Something About You, another man, I love that song. Like some of the songs that weren't hits on here are like
Yep.
some of the best. Let Me Take You Home Tonight is cool. Just like, geez,
It
Tom
never ends.
Scholz,
Yeah.
damn genius for
Yep.
this record. And most of this is him, obviously, except for Delp. singing. They to keep the record company at bay so Tom could do his thing. They sent the band out to record. I want to say "Let Me Take You Home Tonight" is the song that the whole band does play on, but
Mhm.
they kind of did that so Tom could tinker in the
Right.
studio and just do his thing and stuff. And like Sib, Ashian, I think Jim Mazdia plays drums on a lot of this record. The most of the guys in the band like didn't actually play on the record, but what I mean,
It's
what a
it,
killer album. I mean, it's so melodic, but it does rock hard. I mean,
oh,
it fits
dude,
in
some of
with the
those
hard rock at
leads
the
are
time.
crazy heavy, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great
you can't
like
question
double
that.
guitar work on here, harmonies, harmony vocals out the yin yang.
Yep.
Brad Delp, one of the greatest singers of all time, hitting notes like that were like godly. That
Just when you think you can't get any higher, he goes
he goes
higher.
higher. It's like
Yeah.
this is when you need one more. He goes to 11,
Goes to 11. Yeah.
one higher.
It's crazy what that Boston falls into that category where if somebody would be like, "Oh, I've never heard any Boston. I don't know what Boston is." And you could literally start with song one and they would go, "Oh, I know that one." And
Yeah,
you'd go through the whole album and they'd be like, "I know that one and that one and that one." It just I think that's one of those albums that's culturally been just part of us for that long. It's because, like you said, every single one's been on the radio at some point. It's all over all the classic radio stations and things. So, yeah, even if you didn't know you were listening to it, it's in the background someplace. And it is, I think it's just become a very culturally ingrained American album.
yeah. I mean, I think I've listened to this record as many times. I mean, Jesus, more times than most of my records. I'll put it to you that way.
Sure. Sure.
It's definitely in the top five most listened to records. When CDs came out, this was like one of the first ones.
Yeah.
I gotta get the first Boston on CD. How amazing is gonna sound on CD? One of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah. That's a good one. All right. I'm gonna make your argument for rocks. I love 70s Aerosmith. There's no question. Um, is it their heaviest? Good argument could be made there. Um, if I'm gonna reach for 70s Aerosmith, Get Your Wings is gonna get it every single time. This is a super, super close second.
Seasons of Wither.
Seasons of yeah, absolutely. I mean, but like you were saying, pound for pound, there ain't a weak spot on this. Those first six albums was Aerosmith firing on all cylinders, man. They were untouchable, unstoppable. And this, I think a lot of people do consider this their pinnacle from the '70s era. But I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I got a special soft spot for Get Your Wings. But yeah, I mean, everything on this is killer. Nobody's fault. Sick as a dog, like you said, rats in a cellar. Yeah, there's no weak spot on this whatsoever. Might have to go down an Aerosmith rabbit hole now that we're talking about it.
Yeah. Seriously.
All right, big old number one.
The band that's been conspicuous in their absence. It is Kiss Destroyer. It is the album that's,
Let's
you
just,
know,
we'll just do
yeah,
it.
there it is. I
Oh
was wondering if you're
no,
gonna have
oh
this or
no,
rock and roll over.
cheating a little bit here, but we'll keep Destroyer here.
I was gonna put rock and roll over actually in my top 10, but I thought I'll just keep it to one band, you know, one album per band kind of thing. But man, my love for this goes back to I was predestined to love the record because when I was a little kid, um, everyone loved the way they looked. But then my
Yeah.
grandmother bought it for me on 8-track, and I listened to it all the time. Like,
Yep.
what
Same
do I
here.
know? As a kid, though, I just loved it because it was Kiss. I didn't necessarily like. I wasn't because I was a hard rock fan. It was just like, this
Yeah.
is awesome. It's
Yep.
Kiss. It's awesome. And
And
I
they were
had the eight
fucking
track for
everywhere.
yeah, I had the 8-track for years, and then when I got back into music, I gravitated towards Kiss again through Creatures of the Night and
Yeah.
this one, and going back to Rock and Roll Over, picking that one up again. I just became like a huge, humongous Kiss fan and
Yep.
have been. They've been in my top three bands of all time. Top two most of the time.
Yep.
Um,
Same here.
and I cannot fault this record in any way. Some people will point to Great Expectations or Beth as being lame, but I don't skip anything on this
Well, you
record. I love
you have to
everything about
recognize
it.
you got to recognize the significance of Beth, though. I mean, Beth kind of saved the album here a little bit because it had a
Kind of
slow
saved it. I
start.
mean, it definitely saved it.
Yeah, but then again, if you look at the track listing on here and you look at their entire career, Detroit Rock City all the time, King of the Nighttime World, In and Out, God of Thunder all the time, Flaming Youth early on. But I mean, Shout It Out Loud, Do You Love Me? Those were all staples of their live
Yeah.
set forever. you know so you can't you can't disregard the weight of this album. And I'll tell you
And
what.
it's
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's the only record in their catalog that sounds like this. I mean,
It
you
is.
could argue. I mean, The Elder was produced by Ezrin, but it doesn't have the same vibe
Mm-mm.
as this record. This is like, at the same time as the band is kind of fraying at the edges a little bit here with Ace not showing up, and
Yeah.
but Peter worked his ass off
Yep.
on this record. It sounds great. Like Ezrin did things on this record that a band like Kiss wouldn't have normally done. Like they're doubling
Right.
guitar parts up with grand piano and those chords in
Oh, yeah.
Detroit Rock City that you hear when they're that thick. It's because there's like, you know, grand piano like doubling the chords and stuff, and
Yep.
there's all kind of stuff going on here. The ear candy on this record, they took their songs and Ezrin made them work their asses off and they elevated. If you hear the demos for any of these songs, every one of them is better on
Oh yeah.
this record. Detroit Rock City, like you listen to that demo and you're like, that would never have been the
Right.
classic that it is in its original form.
Right.
God of Thunder, like same.
Yep.
It's cool to hear it because it's faster and it's got that disco beat
Yeah.
to it, and
Yeah.
Paul's lyrics are questionable. Um, but what a great, just man, I love Sweet Pain on here. I think it's one
I
of
do
those
too.
songs that like gets overlooked.
I love Flaming
Flamin'
Youth
Youth, I love
too.
the whole like Calliope thing in it.
Yeah.
In it, I just love all the little ear candy stuff. Like I guess because I was a kid at the time and I had the benefit of really getting into music later, like some of the stuff that bothered fans at the time that were like,
Yeah.
what's going on with this record? Like to them, if they went soft, to me, I'm just like, this is awesome.
Yep. Same here.
There's a reason it's their biggest selling studio record,
Right.
and
You know,
that it's lasted this long.
there was a point for a while. There was a period of time where I don't know, it's just me. I kind of thought there was like a loose concept running through this album. Starting with, the kid getting into the car and crashing and
Yeah,
all that. And then hearing the kids, chirping around in the background during God of
on the
Thunder.
walkie talkies.
Yeah, yeah, it just
Okay, yeah, start
yeah,
singing.
oh, yeah. Oh, and then that crazy, at the very end where they had that real cosmic sounding stuff at the
Yeah,
end.
rock and
I
roll
was,
party.
yeah, yeah. I just was like, okay, what am I missing here? There's a message in here someplace,
Yeah,
and that was in my head for like a long time. And then I was like, yeah, I'm just losing it, but yeah, I mean, Destroyer. And I'll tell you what, I am like super stoked about this Spirit of 76 album coming out. That's my
dude.
all-time favorite. I used to do a lot of DVD trading back in the 90s, early 2000s on the KISS FAQ board, FAQ board. And I was to the point where there was like a huge circle of people that would just, you know, it was like a big chain. It was like so and so would burn a copy, and then you send it to the next guy on the list. You burn it, and you send it to the next guy. So there was these huge trade circles, and I got one of I forgot, I can't remember. It's sitting over there. I got one of the DVD copies of this guy that was like really meticulous about going back and like remastering and fixing the
Uh,
video, and he would put it in surround sound. And at the time that was like the one to have. If you got a copy of this guy's, that was it. So I gotta say, I was a little bit bummed out that when they put the word out that the Anaheim show was coming out, that there wasn't like a Blu-ray coming with it, unless they're gonna hold off and make more money down the road on that one. But
yeah,
But just have knowing that Ezrin is doing the mixing for this and bringing it up to par for modern times, I bet this show is gonna sound killer. I love watching that show. It's just there's an energy about that. And even I don't know, did you watch the little vignette with Gene and Paul talking about it?
No, I need to check it. In fact, I didn't know that Ezra was involved. I knew Eddie Kramer did the recording
Or
of the show.
maybe I got it goofed up. Maybe you're right. I don't remember now. It was one of the two.
I thought Eddie recorded it, and I thought that he was in the
You
cleaning
could
it
be
up
right. You
and
could be
stuff
right
for.
there.
But either way, either one of those guys. I mean, I got to get my pre-order in before it sells out too. The CD
Yeah,
did already, and the record I want to get.
yeah, I'm not big on picture discs. I know that comes with a couple extra bonus things. I was like, nah. So
Eh,
I did get the colored one, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, I'm really excited to see because I have a a bootleg vinyl version of it. It sounds about as good as you would expect.
yeah,
It was a soundboard recording, but I'm really stoked to hear what this sounds like now that it's going to be, newly mixed and everything. But yeah, that little promo video Gene and Paul did is actually pretty cool because it seemed like they were very sincere about it. And Paul's
uh,
like, at that time, he goes, that was the biggest show of our life, 42,000 people. It was like, and man, I don't know if you watch that show, they fucking brought it. They
I
just
used to have it
brought
on
it.
VHS. I used to go to. I'm sure record shows were like this around you too, but
Oh yeah,
at one point you go into like a record show, and it seemed like it was less records than dudes with tables full of bootleg cassettes and
yeah,
VHS tapes of
oh yeah,
concerts and stuff. And
yep,
I got I had Kiss Destroys Anaheim for years on VHS, and it's funny. I remember an interview with they're talking to Paul, and they mentioned that concert, and he was saying when he watches it, like he could just see like fear in his eye
yeah,
um, from just the size of that crowd and the import of
right,
that
right.
gig, like how like it's amazing.
I'm glad they're finally doing something with it because, with the 40th and then 45th, I was like, man, they're just completely missing the boat on doing something with that Anaheim show. So I guess they were waiting for the big 5-0. I don't know.
Yeah, and they've been whiffing on those the off the soundboard releases for the most part. The 77 one is cool, but some of those
Yeah.
other ones, it's like, did anyone really want Tokyo from 2001 or
No, no.
like that the Animalized show? Yeah, Mark St. John is on it, but I would have rather had the show that I saw in Bethlehem with Bruce playing
Exactly.
because it's tighter and Paul sings better, sounded better that night, and
That Des
I
Moines
don't
one's
know.
the only one I bought.
It's kind of like I figured the only thing it's like why have that series unless you're going to release shit that people really want, which is the stuff that's going to sell is going to be the stuff from the 70s or like people would now I know some of the creature stuff came out on the box, so
Yeah.
you have that and maybe that they're saving some of the box sets, but like the 70s is where put out like a freaking unmasked tour show or there's stuff out there from there's a lot of good soundboards out there, so I don't know, that's just an
Yeah,
old man
I'm sure
griping.
those vaults are probably just bursting at the seams still. They dangle stuff out there for us, Unfortunately, sometimes the price is just ridiculous. But I don't know, the Anaheim stuff I thought was very reasonably priced. That
I was
double live album
surprised
it was
30
37
like
bucks.
37 bucks plus
Yeah.
shipping.
Yep.
Shipping's a
Came
little crazy, like $12, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, some of the last stuff that they put out, I'm like, I won't pass on that because I'm not paying $100 for one
Yeah,
record.
I mean there are bands like doing reissues of their records that they're charging like $50 for a single disc and
Yep, not doing
tax
it.
shipping. Now I understand they're doing them in much smaller,
Yeah.
and I some of those bands I'll buy them. I mean I'm going to pay the money because I know it's going to the band and I know
Yeah.
it costs them a lot of money to do it. So
Sure.
it's just
Sure.
the point though, like you're like you said, I'm surprised Kiss wasn't like charging an arm and a leg or didn't like stuff it full of stuff that we don't need just to jack the price up. They could have made
Right.
a box out of it and
Right.
all kind of like all that bullshit. Like I think it's cool to look at, but it all sits in the box. Like I rarely ever. I got a couple Thin Lizzy things I took out of
Yeah.
the my Thin Lizzy box I had to put in little frames, but that's because I have like two copies of it. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but all my Kiss box stuff, I mean, it's sitting in the box.
No, I mean the
Same
only
with the
one that
Sabbath boxes.
yeah, I mean I have all the Sabbath boxes. Those were a little more affordable, but I do have the Alive box set that came out. Christine got that for me for Christmas, and that's unbelievable the stuff in there. But if I ever come across a Dress to Kill one or something for cheaper, I'd grab that. But
I
you know,
need to
I
get
I
both of those.
I got the standalone creatures um re-release, anniversary edition and Destroyer. I didn't go out for boxes on those, but that particular era of 75, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to pull the plug on those. So and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that they put in there, and it's fun to have. But like you said, I'm not going to take the posters out and frame them and put them on the wall because I'm just that nerd who has to keep everything in the box.
Yeah,
And
I know I'm not going to sell them, so it's like, I mean, there are
same
box
here.
sets I might be willing to part with, but not not those Kiss ones.
No, nope,
So
not at all, not at all. So, all right, I guess there you have it. There's our top 10 American albums from 1976. That was fun. That was cool.
was cool. Yeah, there's a lot of good music. Like I was listening to stuff today, like that came across that I hadn't even like really either heard before or stuff I'd listened to in a while. Like the first Derringer record
Yeah,
came out in
yeah,
'76, or the first one is the band Derringer. Derringer, I always had records
yeah,
before that, but the first Derringer record's cool. There's a band called Stonewall. I listened to
yeah,
their record from '76 today. I'm like, I never heard this before. I've seen it,
yeah.
but that was fun to listen to. I mean, there's just so much good stuff, like
I,
American hard rock.
I agree.
It's funny though, like how little like kind of actual like metal you really don't start seeing like the more metallic stuff like is coming in from overseas at that point, like Priest and Sabbath and the Scorpions, and
Yeah, it's happening
um,
there, but it was like the trickle effect over
it took
here.
a while to
Yeah. So I think I would say like, 78, 9 into 80. That's when I think things started getting a little more heavy, metallic wise, like you just said. But yeah, we caught up.
yeah, for sure.
All right. I hope everybody out there has a fantastic holiday weekend.
And
Don't
safe.
don't lose your fingers because
That's
if
right.
you can't do that if you're missing that one. So
Right. If you
just
get
don't do
goosed
it.
up, take an Uber, man. It's not
Ubers.
worth it.
That's right. Get a
You know,
designated driver, Uber.
be safe. Enjoy your families. Enjoy celebrating the 4th of July. I think it's a fun time to hang out with family and celebrate. We have Thanksgiving, but it's always good to, you know, you know, it's good to be with family and on the 4th of July and
Yep.
be kind of, for as fucked up as things are in this country, a lot of the time there's a lot of good stuff, and mostly like especially when it comes to the people that we
Absolutely.
uh that we live with. So there's always something even in our darkest moments, there's always something to celebrate. So
Yep.
enjoy
I
the
agree.
fourth and
Good sentiment.
250
Absolutely.
years. It's a good, we're still a baby country in a lot of ways, and there's a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of good
We're
stuff, and there's a
still
lot of great music that came out. And it's a good time to reflect on some of this great American hard rock this time
yep.
of year.
Yep. So do that when you're with your friends and family this weekend, having a couple, relaxing, got the smell of that charcoal burning, bust out some of these
Yeah,
albums me and Butch brought up to you.
eat
And
about 20 hot dogs.
double stack those burgers, get some
That's right. That's
corn
how you
on
get to look like Butch. You too can look like Butch. All you need is 2 packs of hot dogs and 3 double stacked hamburgers with mozzarella cheese.
mozzarella cheese. I prefer the pepper jack myself, but it's up to you. All
You
right, everybody.
Wisconsin boys and your cheese.
We love our cheese up here, our cheese and our beer. We'll see you next time on
For the sake
Sake
of
of
heaviness.
Happiness.
Heaviness.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th.